Everyone that's preparing for retirement will eventually go through a transitional phase that I call the retirement risk zone. And that phase is the 10 years prior to your target retirement date and the first 5 years in retirement. And typically that phase is characterized by a whole bunch of decisions that have major consequences, but also major benefits when those decisions are done well. So in this video, I'm going to be addressing the 9 most common retirement planning mistakes I see people make when they're navigating the retirement risk zone and how you can avoid them and create the retirement of your dreams. So stay tuned and we'll jump right in. Welcome. My name is Eric Amzalag. I am the owner and head financial planner at Peak Financial Planning. We are a fee-only fiduciary investment advising firm in Southern California. We work with clients all over the country to help them navigate the retirement risk zone, make smarter money decisions, invest wisely, and properly tax plan for their wealth. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right into the 9 retirement planning mistakes that you can avoid as you navigate the retirement risk zone. So if you've seen any of my other retirement planning videos, you will know that retirement mistake number 1 that I'm just about to share is by far the most common thing I talk about. Retirement mistake number 1 is not having an expense tracking system. No one loves to hear this, but the truth is retiring successfully is all about cash flow. If you overspend in the early years of your retirement, you increase the risk of running out of money while you're alive. Now, if you overspend before your retirement, you run the risk of not having enough money saved for retirement. And bar none, this is the most important thing you can do to prepare and prevent either eventuality. I like to think of this as a train wreck that you can avoid, and all you have to do in order to avoid it is by having a system or a tool to help track your spending. Now, let's be clear, I'm not talking about a budget where you set limits to your spending based upon categories, although in some cases that might actually be the appropriate thing. Rather, what I am talking about is having a system or a tool, as I mentioned, that allows you to track how much you spend each month, broken down into 2 categories: fixed expenses or required expenses and desired expenses. Now, I have other videos on my YouTube channel that you're more than welcome to watch about how to set up a budgeting system or what tools to use. But here I'm just going to talk about why it's so critically important. Now, the answer is only way you can figure out how much income your portfolio or your saved assets will need to generate you in retirement is if you know how much you hope to spend each year. And the only way to know how much you hope to spend each year is if you use a formula and track your actual expenses. So here, you can use a quick formula. We'll put it on the screen here for you to help you identify how much portfolio income you'll need each year. Again, assuming that you've actually tracked your expenses and know roughly what you'll spend. So the formula is your estimated spending in retirement less your guaranteed income, which are things like Social Security, pensions, and annuities, will equal your required portfolio income. That will tell you how much you need from your actual saved assets. To summarize this point, the earlier you begin tracking your expenses, the easier it is to project your estimated expenses in retirement, the easier it therefore becomes to plan how much you'll need saved in order to actually achieve your retirement target. And then the easier it becomes to adjust your savings pattern so that if you're not saving enough currently, you can actually save the right amount and achieve the retirement date you hope for. All right, the second biggest retirement mistake I see is not having a proper tax plan. And specifically, I'm talking about not having a Roth contribution or conversion strategy. So taxes will be your single largest expense in retirement and over the course of your entire life, not just in retirement. The problem here is that all signs point to tax rates increasing over time. Fewer and fewer young people are entering the workforce, which means a shrinking tax base. More people are relying on government welfare programs like Social Security and others. And the government continues to increase its debt levels, which means the government will eventually, in our country at least, the United States, be forced to increase tax rates. Now, Roth contributions and conversions are one of the best proactive tax planning tools that are accessible to anybody. You don't need any special characteristics or criteria to access this tool. Roth money allows you to pay taxes now and avoid ever paying taxes on those funds, including the gains in the future. So contributing to Roth accounts allows you to save a certain amount in this manner each year. Now, if you don't have significant or any Roth contributions already, don't be dismayed. Roth conversions are actually the way that you can convert old tax-deferred money, think things like 401k contributions or IRA contributions, into a Roth format. Now, you don't want to do this willy-nilly. You want to have a plan because what you're doing is you're paying tax now to avoid paying tax in the future, which can have profound and huge results. But crafting and executing a Roth contribution and conversion strategy as early as you possibly can will have a huge impact on how much spendable money you have during your retirement, as well as how well it preserves your wealth when it's transferred to heirs. Moral of the story, think about how your tax planning is being done and start to think about Roth contributions and Roth conversions. Retirement mistake number 3 is claiming Social Security just because you can. So whatever your opinion of the long-term viability of Social Security system, it's likely to be the most valuable asset for most retirees with less than $3 million in investable money. It's also such a political hot button that it's very unlikely that Social Security ever goes away entirely. And if you want to learn more about how I think about Social Security, I've done a separate video on this subject on my YouTube channel. But just to go into Social Security a bit here, it's an annuity, which is basically just an income stream that you are not responsible for managing the underlying investments for, which is a huge, huge benefit. And this annuity, Social Security, is inflation adjusted and guaranteed by the US government for life. So we say that and we just kind of take it for granted, but it's actually really hard to demonstrate how uniquely valuable that combination of factors is. So whether to claim Social Security at age 62 just because you can, or to delay and capture the guaranteed increases that you get from deferring is actually going to be one of the most impactful financial decisions you ever make in your life. And the decision is actually influenced by a few factors. So are you forced into retirement early and unpreparedly? Do you have enough saved assets sufficient to fund you until you reach your optimal Social Security age? And then how influential are your specific Social Security income amounts going to be to your actual retirement success? Until you know those things or have some clarity, so you're going to want to build a model that factors in your savings rate, your accumulated assets, how much you want to spend in retirement, and then use your Social Security projections so that you can make the best decision about when to claim Social Security for you. The moral here is don't just claim Social Security blindly because you can or because someone you know did it. Review this decision with a great degree of care, the same amount of care you'd apply to your own personal investment assets. Retirement mistake number 4, not consolidating old employer retirement accounts or IRAs. So the issue here is that having a bunch of small or even large retirement accounts that are spread between different employer plans or custodians just increases the complexity of having a good picture of your financial situation. The less clear your financial picture is, the more likely you are to make uninformed and then therefore suboptimal decisions. So here's a couple examples I see all the time. A client has old retirement accounts left unattended after separation of service. Little does the client know that the investments in that account are in very conservative target date funds that are yielding subpar returns. Now, the client hasn't attended to them for years, and the client has lost years of compounding that they can never get back as a result. Scenario number 2, a client has a whole bunch of little retirement accounts spread between various 401ks and IRAs. Little does the client know that all those accounts are actually invested in almost an identical mutual fund. So this makes their portfolio very sensitive to market fluctuations because they lack the protection that diversification offers. So they're very overweight into one thing and their portfolio is very volatile as a result. Consolidating these accounts makes them easier to manage and then easier to monitor. Now, as an added bonus, it can also help prevent lost money. So you'd be surprised at how many people forget that they have old 401ks or IRAs that are just simply waiting for their owners to claim them. Retirement mistake number 5 is not starting to plan early enough. Albert Einstein called the power of compounding the 8th wonder of the world. The earlier something starts compounding, the bigger and better the results will be in the future. Interest is not the only thing that compounds though. Smart money decisions also compound. For example, the earlier you know how much money you're going to need in order to fund your retirement, the earlier you can start planning to achieve that goal. Now, not only that, but once you know how much money you need in order to fund retirement, now you can backtrack and identify the earliest possible age at which you can retire. Knowing how early you can retire based on your current spending, saving, and investing habits gives you power. And armed with that knowledge, you can control your destiny rather than leaving it up to the universe or just dumb luck. Now, needless to say, the earlier you can answer these questions, the earlier you can also adjust behaviors to align with your goals. What age you retire at, as well as how much money you can spend each year in retirement are actually entirely up to you. Now, the thing is, steering your financial ship is like steering the Titanic rather than steering a speedboat. I see too many people wait until the final months before retirement to begin planning for these things. It's not impossible to navigate that lack of runway successfully, but it is exponentially harder. Retirement mistake number 6 is having undocumented financial wishes. So most couples have one financial driver and one financial passenger. In most cases, that division of labor is excellent. But when it comes to your finances, there's actually a hidden price to that. If something were to happen to the financial driver, the financial passenger would have no idea how to execute the driver's financial plan. So we're not talking about money here. We're talking about knowledge. Even if that hypothetical couple were to have enough money to make it through the end of their life, the financial passenger might actually just be financially uneducated at that point, and therefore at the mercy of predatory financial services professionals. Documenting your financial plans and wishes, and I'm not talking like legacy wishes, like how much goes to which kid per capita per stirpies, but I'm talking about how much you save, why you save that much, where it's going, what's it funding, why it goes into specific accounts or specific investments, where things are held. All that information is going to allow your partner to continue to execute seamlessly without being taken advantage of. A documented financial plan acts as non-financial insurance for the passenger seat partner. Equally important, undocumented financial plans drift over time. So plans that lack firm commitments end up taking people down a long, winding road to who knows where. Documentation leads to commitment, which leads to decisive action and ultimately results in optimal results. Retirement mistake number 7 is not tracking the right metrics. So I call the majority of financial services industry big finance. Now, big finance is predatory. You think they're predatory, and they are. They use the media to scare consumers, and they use it to brainwash them into focusing on the wrong financial metrics. It's kind of like a magician's sleight of hand trick. So while big finance has you focusing on things like the market rate of return, the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, it also has you focusing on your 401k balances or your gross income. While all that's happening, they get to charge you hefty fees for investment management, pretending that they have some kind of secret sauce that you don't have access to, and that your investment rate of return on your portfolio is the only thing that creates positive influence on your retirement success. That's absolute hokey. For example, did you know that most retirees, taxes will actually be your single biggest expense in retirement? Second only to budgeting, which is planning your spending, tax planning will have the largest impact on your spendable wealth in retirement. Tracking annual spending, after-tax portfolio values, after-tax distribution amounts, and your plan's required rate of return rather than the market rate of return will allow you to focus on the metrics that matter most and actually have things to do with your personal financial success. Having these things tracked will allow you to make the wisest financial decisions from a place of knowledge and stability. Retirement planning mistake number 8, obtaining your financial advice off the internet. Now, I know that's kind of ironic because you're probably getting to me watching this video, reading my articles through the internet. But the fact of the matter is that the internet is not really a credible source for financial advice. Articles on the internet are not designed to solve problems. What they are designed to do is get clicks. And we know from social media that the most effective way to get clicks is out of fear. So making financial decisions from a place of fear, or any decisions, not just financial decisions, is never the right choice. On top of that, most advisors who you might read their articles online are actually laughably under-credentialed. They don't need a college degree. They don't need anything other than passing 2 exams that require maybe a cumulative total of 60 hours of study time in order to somehow be qualified to provide financial advice to consumers just like you. It's really, really important to clear through the clutter and make sure that the source you're reading from or watching from is in fact credible and has direct experience helping people in your situation successfully navigate those financial concerns. One way to help clear through that clutter is to read guides or content from advisors who have a certified financial planner designation. So the CFP is claimed by less than 25% of active financial advisors. It requires a college degree, 6 financial planning related courses, a capstone, and 4,000 to 6,000 hours of professional experience. The summary here is that having a CFP is a great way to filter for someone who has direct on-the-job experience. From there, you can extend your search out. But the main idea here is be wary of what you read and what you see. A lot of it is fear porn or clickbait designed to make people scared so that they take quick actions with their money. Retirement planning mistake number 9, finally the end of the list. Not working with a fee-only fiduciary financial planning firm like Peak Financial Planning. So all of these different mistakes are hard to reverse. Either you run out of time or there's one occurrence financial mistakes. And you can easily avoid these and create much better outcomes simply by partnering with a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor who you trust and who has your best interests at heart. So this is a call to action to say, we'd love for you to consider our fee-only fiduciary CFP team here at Peak Financial Planning for the following reasons. We'll help you document your financial wishes and goals. We'll help you create a reliable income stream that you understand, that outlives you. We can help you pay the government less so that you have more money to spend on the things that you care about. And we can help you craft an investment strategy that you understand and that lets you sleep well at night knowing you'll be taken care of. So if you'd like to schedule a free consultation with us, you can do that using the link in the description to this video below. If you're not quite ready to schedule time to sit down and talk, by the way, that time is free. That's totally understandable. You can find a whole bunch of educational videos on our YouTube channel, Peak Financial Planning. You can also read guides and articles on our website at www.thepeakfp.com. And if you'd just like to get a clearer picture of what it's like to work with us before you do schedule some time and what our fees are, you can find all that information on our website at thepeakfp.com. So as always, thank you for your time and attention watching this video, and we'll see you in the next video.